it's Lindy. This is the last video in our series on prone work in the movement improvement world. Why do we want to be lying on our stomach? Because we get pulled forward by our world. We get pulled into TV screens and computer screens and phone screens, and we drive our cars with our arms forward and our heads forward, and we don't do enough to combat that position. We used to, but we don't anymore. We've got the convenience of having chairs that don't even ask for us to get down on the floor anymore. So we really don't have to get on our tummies a whole lot unless maybe you sleep on your stomach at night, which isn't very active. So we have to make a conscious decision to do things that open up the front side of our body and give us some power into the back side of our body so that we don't fall forward. So the last video here, hopefully you've worked through the series. If you haven't, go back and check all those out because we're working up to this particular position. What you're going to do is you're going to come down onto your tummy and you're going to take your arms a little bit forward and a little bit wide. I like to think of this as a little bit of a sphinx position. If this is too much for you, just come all the way down and go back into the position that we had a couple of videos ago. If you feel like you need some support in the front, you can use balls or towel rolls to support you. If you feel like you need to come all the way down because your hips are up or you're just feeling tension in the front of your hips or your lower back or your neck, totally fine. But ideally, we're coming up into this sphinx position, and we want to have this sense, just like we practiced in the last video, that we're rolling the imaginary ball forward with our chest as we pull the hands, the heels of the hands and the elbows back. At the same time, we're staying wide across the shoulder girdle and long through the legs. From this position, imagine that your pelvis is almost suspended. So if the floor underneath you were getting super hot right now, could you just slightly suspend the pelvis? If that doesn't give you a little bit of activation between your sit bones, just go ahead and imagine a little bit of a connection between your sit bones, your pubic bone, and your tailbone. Then you're simply going to start to bend one knee, do this really slowly, and then bend the other knee and straighten it. Now, as you bend one leg, I'm going to show you on the side toward the camera, play around with what happens if you flex at the foot and play around with what happens if you point the toe. Both of those things might feel a little bit different. One big thing to pay attention to is as you bend the knee, notice what happens to the pelvis. We want to make sure that we're getting good length through the front of the hips, through the front of the pelvis. Believe it or not, this is a lot of strength work for the shoulder girdle, the upper chest, the upper back. It's great core work. It's also really great work for lengthening the front side of the body. So play with this one this week, and I will see you next time for a whole nother series on a different topic. Thanks for watching.